Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey, heroes on their way. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, did you want them? Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions. From Waterdeep to Icewind, head out to Chull or Shadowfell, hey, hey. Together we stay. Walk to the monsters, walk to the boss, walk to the right, it's never a loss, hey, hey. Bad guys to slay. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, did you want them? Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions.
Let's do it.
How about now? Oh, OBS. Oh, OBS. This is why we have captions, folks. When OBS decides it's like, no, I'm just gonna mute your mic today. Let's start over. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Gaarawarr's Guide, the tutorial show. I'm joined today by Martin, who's typing in all caps. You're muted! Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Martin. So I know the in-game notification said we're going to be doing talking about Balos Gladiators, the Black Pits. That was last week, folks. That was last week. Last week we talked about the Epic Games pack that was released, Balos Gladiators, the Black Pits. To this week, similar topic. We're going to be talking about Idle Champions Presents the Black Pits, which is the live play TTRPG show, and specifically the champions that mostly appeared in that episode. It was, or in episodes, excuse me, there were 3 of them, DM'd by Mark Meer as Baloth, so we're not going to include Baloth as a champion this week. We're going to talk about the 6 champions that were in that, 5 of whom are on the screen right now, 2 of whom actually share a bench slot, so while they can go have fun adventures together in Idle Champions Presents, unfortunately can't use them together in the show, or in the game, or in the show either. I mean, I can't use them together on this show, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Yes, ICP stands for Idle Champions Presents. This is, all right. I guess we should probably get on with it. We got like 6 champions to cover today. I have put us at a place where think they probably kill us if I don't have familiars. Yeah, they probably kill us. When I level them up, we'll be able to push with the actual champions here in a bit. So let's dive right in. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why? Hold on, folks. Hold on, folks. I'm like, why is Deacon all lit up? I don't know. He's not even out there. Okay. Now my most of my anxiety is gone. Okay. All right, let's dive in. Let's talk about Whittle first, folks. Whittle joins us from the Heroes of the Plains Streamiverse. I call it that because there were so many shows, folks. There were so many shows that all had the same group of a similar core cast, and then, you know, people came and went. But here we go, Whittle, the Dampier Gnome Wizard. Whittle serves in Idle Champions as healing, support, and speed, although I would say focus on the support and speed. The healing is... It's based off her ultimate, and I don't really count that as a healer. Come on. Come on. But that's me. You do you. Base attack, Blunderbolt. Whittle fires a firebolt from her enormous blunderbuss, damaging random enemy. Why? Because Whittle basically uses the blunderbuss as her magical focus. It isn't an actual, like, black powder weapon. It shoots magic. She stuffs components into it and then pulls the trigger and magic comes out. Because why not? Because why not? Everything about Whittle is based around her vampiric gaze. Whittle charms those adjacent to her with her vampiric gaze, increasing their damage. This is the big damage buff. But all the rest of her kit kind of bounces around vampiric gaze. So the key thing here is this is about people adjacent to Whittle. So you wanna function. You want to place Whittle functionally with adjacencies to, hey, like your primary DPS, but also maybe some other people, right? Hurry up now. Champions affected by Whittle's vampiric gaze, see, there we go, have a 25% chance to immediately reset their base attack cooldown after they attack. So potentially free attacks. Which is nice. Again, this is why you want them adjacent to your primary DPS. You may, however, also want them adjacent to anybody that places on-hit effects. You know, so any kind of on-hit debuffs or on-hit bonuses. The more often they can place those, the better. Tasty Friends. This is Whittle's speed effect. So champions affected by Whittle's vampiric gaze look extra tasty to the enemies. Each affected champion increases this monster spawn speed by 10%, stacking additively. So the more champions you have adjacent to Whittle, the more she speeds things up in terms of monster spawn speed. Now, specialization-wise, it's kind of all the same thing. It's just it's focused on different sets of stats. So the effects of Whittle's abilities on champions affected by vampiric gaze are increased by 50%. So all of the abilities, that she is pumping out, get a 50% bonus, regardless of which specialization you choose. However, only for champions that match these stat combinations. So it's strength or dex, intercon, or wisdom or charisma, and it's a 12 or higher across the board. So, figuring out, the largest number, good idea. Pretty good idea. I'm just going to pick one for demonstration purposes. Only as slow as the fastest link. No, this isn't a Zelda reference. Champions affected by Whittle's vampiric gaze have a base attack cooldown equal to the quickest of the affected champions. So once again, Whittle makes you attack faster. Not only is she getting you free attacks, but she's basically looking at the speed of the people around her. Like if we look at Tatiana's got a 5.25. We got Minsk at 3.75, right? Now, if we put both of them adjacent to Whittle, Tatiana suddenly attacks at 3.75. So she forces the attack cooldown to be whatever the lowest attack cooldown is of the people around her. So this is a great way. Again, I'm going to go back to on-hit effects. Anybody with on-hit effects, if you can make them place those effects faster, fantastic. Fantastic. Reducing the attack speed cooldown, your basic attack cooldown on your DPS. If you can do it significantly, you can see a little bit of a bonus to your bud or your base ultimate damage, which is what you should be using to determine the power of your formation. Not a ton, but a little bit. So it means your ultimates are going to hit a little bit harder. But the big part really is you want to place on hit effects more often. So whittle good with Freely, who we're going to be talking about here in a bit, because Freely has on hit effects and Freely spreads those on hit effects to other people. So that's a good combination. One of many good combinations for Whittle in this regard. Yes, and then the ultimate. So the ultimate is the heal. Whittle leaps out and ferociously bites a random enemy, dealing enormous damage. She then leaps back into the formation, where her vampiric bite heals her and everyone affected by vampiric gaze. And it heals for an amount equal to her own max health. So you can. The thing about this is you can move Whittle. Like if your tank is the one that needs a little bit of health, you can move Whittle and then ult. And you come back, and then there's some healing numbers, and then you can move them back. So you can move Whittle around it because it is based off the ultimate. You can move Whittle around in the formation to heal whoever really needs the heals in the moment. And then just move them back and go on with your day. So that's a Whittle about Whittle. Item-wise, a pair of Damage All Champions items, so the support items. We get the Vampiric Gaze ability, so this is the damage bonus. We get Tasty Friends, this is the speed ability. To my knowledge, they have not capped this item yet in terms of giving it a number cap. But there is a functional cap to this type of speed effect. Because this type of speed effect affects the amount of time it takes enemies to go from this side part of the screen where my cursor is, making sure I see it on the overlay, to where they're taking damage. It's a short little path. The faster they get there, the faster they could die, the faster new stuff spawns, right? This is how Whittle's speed effect works. Similar to Deacon's. It is functionally capped at 1 animation frame. Right? If it takes 1 animation frame for them to go from the right side of the screen to the point where they die instantly, you're done. Unfortunately, we don't know what the numerical value for that is. So getting a decent Tasty Friends item can ensure you're maxing that out, but we don't for sure know exactly where it caps. So don't go super deep. Trying to get Whittle's Tasty Friends, super high. We get ultimate attack damage and ultimate attack cooldown items. Feat-wise, Damage All Champions. We get some Vampiric Gaze. We get Hurry Up Now. This is the effect of Hurry Up Now. We get Tasty Friends. There's also a durable Constitution. Whenever you see stat feats, what we're looking for is does it qualify for us for a patron? Does it give us buff somewhere? This con buff is gonna qualify her, I believe, for Vajra. Yes, Vajra. Had to double check because it's Saturday. So she can qualify for Vajra patron stuff with that feat. Okay. Next up, let's do Brib. Brib also joins us from the Heroes of the Plains Streamiverse, and actually, you know what? Let's queue up Freely in his original appearance. There we go. We'll just get the Heroes of the Plains out of the way, folks. So again, half orc paladin. Brib does it all, folks. Tanking, healing, support, speed. That's like a dev went up to Brib and goes, "We can fit every class in this boy." Every role at least. And in the ultimate irony, normally somebody who is normally a champion and idle champions that has this many potential roles, not great at any of them. But the thing about idle champions is there's an exception to every rule. He's great at all of them. Great at all of them. Yeah, in chat. Look, he's balanced. He doesn't even do gold fine. Yeah, I guess that's a good argument. That's a good argument. So he doesn't break every rule. But yeah, Briv's pretty strong. Pretty strong. Not just because he's got a strength score of 16. Right off the bat, Briv's first ability, Steel Bones. Whenever Briv comes under attack, metal shoots out of his pores and covers him in strong armor. While armored, Briv takes 10% less damage and gains stacks of Steel Bones when he is hit by an enemy attack. Let's demonstrate. This is normal Briv. And this is armored Briv. Look at that. Look at that armor. It's so strong. And then you kill everything off, and he goes back to... And in a bit, he's going to go back to normal. There it goes. Normal Briv. Normal Briv. So whenever he is in that metal form, he is gaining Steel Bone stacks. This is a big deal. There's a test at the end. Remember that part. Netherese Steel, Briv increases the damage of all champions behind him by a very tiny percent for each stack of Steel Bones he's gained. This is one of the things on the test, folks. So to really buff your party, he needs to get hit a lot. Get hit a lot. Now, folks, that means early on in your run, when you're just killing things instantly, Briv no buff. Not really. So Briv really kicks in later on in your runs in terms of buffage. However, what he does early on is he has an unnatural haste. Briv has a chance of sprinting forward quickly on steel springs after completing a new area. This action consumes 4% of his sprint stacks and requires at least 50 stacks to occur. When you reset an adventure, all stacks of Steel Bones that Briv has gained convert into stacks of sprint. Unused sprint stacks persist to reset. So I'm going to see this again. When you reset an adventure, so when you have ended an adventure and you are starting a new one, all those Steel Bone stacks that you built up to buff your party because Briv was getting hit turn into his speed ability. Okay, this is very unique in Idle Champions. And it's one of the things that makes Briv's speed is one of the speed abilities in this game. Not necessarily when you first get him, but you can build him up to do all the jumping. Yeah. Over here on this screen, you can see they do a good job of telling you, like, hey, Steel Bones, here's how many stacks you've earned so far. But also, hey, a natural haste, here's how many sprint stacks you have. And it'll even tell you how many areas you've skipped. So far on this adventure, because I started this adventure off with Briv, I skipped 384 areas, folks. This should give you an idea of how quickly you can move through areas when you have a really ramped up Briv. And I have kind of an average Briv in terms of the speed Briv community. Mine's not bad. There are people who go very, very, very fast with Briv. I just kind of I go fast. I go fast, but I don't go very fast. All right. Next up, because hey, we've already got a buff. We've already got an incredible speed ability. Let's give him some healing too. Healing Flow, as you can see the spell, the spelling of this PHLO. This is a reference to this little friendo right here. This is Flow. Flow's an armored flump. That is Briv's companion. Briv's pet Flump Flow, calling it a pet is... appears next to Briv and telepathically stores healing power whenever Briv is hit. So again, this is functioning off of Briv getting hit. After 10 hits or 10 seconds, whichever comes first, Flow heals all champions in the party, including Briv, for 50% of the damage Briv took during that time. Let's go back. Briv takes 10% less damage when he's armored. So that's damage reduction. Right? We like damage reduction. Damage reduction is nice. Healing Flow. If you're healing 50% of the damage, that's just kind of another form of damage reduction. It's just delayed a bit. So Brib has his own kind of damage reduction, double dips on the damage reduction, and this is one of the reasons. If you're a new to mid game player and you want just a really solid tank, Brib can fill that spot for you. Brib is fantastic because not only can he tank well and buff, he can heal, and he's got a speed ability. It's like it slices, it dices, it juliennes, it does all the things. Does all the things, folks. This is why people like Brib for the early to mid game stuff. In game, yeah, solid. I think there's some competition at the higher end of mid game, but that's my opinion. Healing flow. This is fantastic. 50% of the damage. We can change that amount too, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But we're not done yet, folks. Oath of Heroism. This is the health share that tanks usually have. This is the health share that tanks usually have. Brib, gets the fairly standard 25%. Let's talk about specializations, because, folks, we haven't even specialized Brib for anything yet. It gets better. I know, I can't believe it either. Metalborn, Unnatural Haste uses 20% less... Fewer? Less? Sprint stacks whenever it pierces, or whenever it procs. So instead of the 4%, because it's pulling to sprint, you're not pulling a flat number, you're pulling a percent. I didn't touch on this. This means it's not as important to get massive numbers of sprint stacks. There are certain thresholds to get certain number of levels, but because it's pulling a percent, you're going to be losing. If you get 1 million stacks, it's going to go down real quick. But this reduces it to 3.2% instead of 4%. So this lets your sprint stacks go further effectively than it normally would. So if you're just focusing on going real fast, jumping all the levels, Metalborn. Tempered Steel increases the effect of Brib's Netherese Steel ability by 100%. The Netherese Steel is the damage buff to everybody else. Probably the least used of Brib specializations. It's okay. If you just want a decent buff and you don't care about going fast or healing, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. But if you really want to maximize Brib's pushing ability, you go with the flow, folks. Go with the flow. Increases the effect of Brib's healing flow ability by 50%. Not additively. Starts out at 50%. It's not additively and making it 100. It's multiplicatively. So we're going from 50% to 75%. Okay. So again, that kind of delayed damage reduction now. 75% of the damage that he's going to do, he's going to take, he's going to come up with heals, right? If we go here now, see 75%. Folks, it gets better. It gets better. It's not on the feeds. This gets better. So, healing flow, 75%. That's a lot. That's a lot. But you know what's nicer than 75%? All of it. It's nicer to just heal all of it. We can do that, folks. How do we do that? Well, there are these things called patrons. I think I was talking about it earlier. If you qualify for certain things for them, they give these perks that are global. Some of them are damage, some of them's health, some of them's gold find. Mert the Moneylender increases healing received by tank champions by 50%. By 50% when you max out the tier 2 perk up. Mert is your starting patron, effectively. He's the kind of my first patron. So it's fairly easy to get a maxed out perk up here. This takes Brib's healing when the flow triggers over 100%. This means as long as Brib exists for 10 hits or 10 seconds, he gets all his health back when you have Go with the Flow and a maxed out perk up. Again, another reason people really like Brib in the early to mid game and even on into a lot of the early to mid game, a lot of into the end game. I think we got there eventually. Because as long as Brib can take a big hit and last for 10 seconds, or it can take 10 hits, he's just going to get all the health back. He's just going to get all of it back. And if everyone's taking damage, he's going to heal all them too, as long as they lived, for that duration. When you have a stack of enemies just sitting on Brib over 10, they're hitting 10 times and he's healing, and it's just kind of his popping his heals off constantly. So it comes down to a point where it's just, can he live through 10 hits? If he can, hey, you're good. If he can't, well, you got real far. Be proud. So, that's everything, folks. Because did he need more? No. Briv's ultimate, Netherese Explosion. Briv forces all of his remaining Netherese metal out of his body, shooting it out an arc in front of him and damaging all enemies that it passes through. He then draws it back into himself, dealing double damage to enemies that it hits on its way back. Here we go. Boom, lots of little metal shards, and they went back. It was quick, folks, but it happened. It's basically a short range, it's a short range AoE. It's going to hit everything out here in front of the tanks. It's just not going to reach the far side of the screen. So there is a bit of a limitation to that. Keep that in mind. Item-wise, it's fantastic. We get a Damage All Champions item. We get a health item. This is super important for Briv. Because literally Briv's biggest limitation is, can he take enough hits to get to his heal? So having a large health item, good idea. We get another Stale. Hey, and more damage bonus, right? We get Unnatural Haste, folks. We're going to talk about this item a little more in depth here in a moment. We get ultimate attack damage and ultimate cooldown. Feat-wise, Damage All Champions, health. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Netherese Steel. We get Overwhelm. Lots of Overwhelm. We can get Sentinel to Kevin 20 more Overwhelm, folks. I've already got him at 10. He starts out at 30, if I remember correctly. His Overwhelm starts out real high. You can get it up another 30 if you went full Overwhelm feats to get him to 60, but that's just a lot. Briv can go... I need to buy this one, actually. Hold on. Yeah, 50,000 chums. That's fine. There we go. Now my Overwhelm is just, hey, just chilling at 50. Folks, what's Overwhelm? We're going to talk about this just because Briv can get to just exorbitantly high numbers. It's the number where you start taking bonus damage per extra enemy above that number that you're tanking. So now I'm at the point where this says 40 or more. It's not, I don't think it's reading correctly, but it's 50 or more enemies is where it should be now. So I can tank up to 50 enemies before I start taking extra damage. The max number of enemies you can have on a screen is 101, but 100 most of the time. So this is wild. This is a wild amount of Overwhelm. Briv, they're just like, hey, let's make Briv the best. He also has a feat that caps the effect of his Unnatural Haste ability, and you're probably going, what? Why? Why would you want to cap it? Well, let's talk about what happens with Briv's Unnatural Haste. So when you start out, you have a small percentage chance with Unnatural Haste of skipping the next level. With Briv. So if we look at Natural Haste, Briv has a chance of sprinting forward quickly on steel springs after completing a new area. When you're starting off, you have a small percent chance to skip one area. So you were on, like, I'm on 469. Nice. If I had triggered a jump here with a one skip Briv and a small percent chance, I would skip the boss on 470 because I'm in a free play, and I would land on 471. This is how his speed effect works. You skip a level. The higher of a rarity of an item you get here, the more powerful it gets with, like, gilding, either shiny or golden, and the higher the item levels, the higher the percent chance to skip. When you hit 100%, you're guaranteed every time you finish a level, he's going to skip the next one. However, you can go over 100%. And when you do, you are always guaranteed to skip. Like if one level, when you first get over 100%, you're going to be guaranteed to skip one level. Every time you complete a level, you'll skip one. And you'll have a small percent chance to skip two. Then you get to 100% again. You're going to have a 100% chance to skip 2 levels every time you finish a level, and a small percent chance to skip 3. This goes on infinitely. Obviously, as you can see, it takes a lot of item levels to get to higher level jumps. What we're looking at here is a guaranteed chance to skip 4 levels and a small chance to skip 5 because I did. This feat, skipping... Okay, we're going to get real deep into Brib here. Skipping 4 levels is kind of the first major speed Brib goal. Because skipping 4 levels means I start the game on level 1 with Brib and his haste ability and sprint stacks. I finish the level, I skip to level 6. Means I jump the boss. And then I go to 11, and then I go to 16, right? You will always jump the boss, but only in free plays. There's reasons for this. So when you are doing gem farming, or you're racing through a free play to get to high levels to do some favor farming, Brib can jump you there very quickly. However, what we found out in the community is that if we go anything greater than 100% chance to skip 4, actually slows you down when you're really getting into this for reasons. So they created a feat that the way to read this is that it caps Brib's jump abilities at 4 levels. So, like I said, I have a 100% chance to skip 4, with some small percent to skip 5, but for the gem farming I want to stay at that 4, so I put this feat in. That's what this feat does. It keeps you at 4. It won't take you to 4. It caps you at 4. This allows you to continue opening chests, continue pumping item levels into Brib until you can get to 9. That's the next breakpoint. Which means you're effectively going from level 1 to 11 to 21 to 31. Yeah. I think you get the idea. You can get deeper into this kind of stuff with guides. There's a guide for that. I didn't write this one this time. Zeke did. It's on the subreddit. You can find it. Somebody can link it to you. High-end stuff there with Brib. High-end stuff. But just so you know what's capable, it's something that you're going to be working. It's going to be something you're going to be working for. Now, I mentioned that that it skips, and it only skips in free plays. Why is that? This is a recent change, but it's one of the things that a lot of the people in the community and the developers obviously felt was a little broken for their game and not the greatest thing to be able to jump bosses, because this game is a formation strategy management game. It's hard. It's a puzzle game. You put all your puzzle pieces, aka the champions, out on the field in a certain way, and you try to beat the challenge that's ahead of you. And that challenge primarily is bosses. It's not. This game isn't just a how far can you go game. Some people play it that way. That's fine, but they create content for you to complete in the terms of variants and bosses in those variants. And they want you to do it with the champions and not just jumping it. So when you are on a new adventure or a new variant, Brib will jump. Like if right here I triggered this, Brib will jump, but if this was a regular adventure and I hadn't beaten this boss yet, he will land on the boss, because you have to beat the boss. And then he'll automatically jump again to wherever he was supposed to go to without costing you any more stacks. He will finish his movement, but you have to beat the boss. In free plays, he'll just jump. You just jump for your love, jump in. Like Brib is all about it. So free plays, he retains the speed functionality and is fantastic. But for adventures and variants, you do have to beat the bosses now, going forward. We've talked about 2 champions so far, and we're halfway through. Brib's complicated, folks. Brib's complicated. There's a lot going on there. All right, let's move on to Freely, because hey, let's go to an easy champion. Freely also joins us from the Heroes of the Plains Streamiverse. Halfling, Bard, Warlock, and lots of other things, just not in this game. But when he's playing, he's got like a little bit in all the classes, I think, or at least he was working on it. Freely serves in the support and gold roles. Support and gold rolls. Base attack, Eldritch Blast. Freely right out of the gate with an ability that is unique to the game, Adventurous Tale. For each area completed with Freely in the formation, you gain a small % bonus to the divine favor you earn when you complete your adventure. But we just said he's a gold champion. He is. He'll do that later, but he's also a favor champion. He just straight up multiplies your favor and gives you more of it. And it shows up over here as a little bonus when you click on the complete to see how much you've earned. Hey, I haven't done a whole lot with Freely, so it's a small bonus, but the more levels that I have Freely in my formation for, the bigger this bonus gets. So Freely is you put him in at level 1, hopefully, and level him up to level 10, area 1, level him up to level 10, and leave him in the formation your whole run. And their kit supports that. They are a fantastic pushing champion, so you're going to want to have them in for a lot. But the higher that number gets, the bigger your bonus. And it's just free favor. It's just free favor. So definitely when you're doing, if you're going to push deep on a favor run, you want Freely in from the beginning and multiply that favor. Luck of Yandala is the main ability, though. Luck of Yandala applies a variety of things. It doesn't tell us there, but it does over here. So click on the Formations buff tab. Grants the Luck of Yandala to this champion. Each champion that attacks with the Luck of Yandala applies a random lucky break to enemies they hit for 15 seconds. Now, obviously it says grants this to Freely. Freely specializations will allow you to share it with other members of your party. So these are on-hit effects. This is why Freely and Whittle go well together, because Freely spreads on-hit effects, and so do other people in your party that Freely chooses based off your specialization choice. So, Opportunity is the first one. Opportunity is a damage bonus. So when you hit an enemy, they're going to take more damage. Requisition is the second one. This is a gold bonus. So when you kill an enemy, they're going to drop more gold. Follow through is an attack speed bonus. 0.1 second per application. Reduction in your attack speed to whoever hits that enemy. And then stagger is a 2% chance per stack for the enemy's going to stunned when they get attacked. So a little bit of crowd control, a little bit of attack speed. Again, this attack speed feeds into all of this and gives you more hits, right? So the big ones, though, are Opportunity and Requisition. Those are kind of the core of Freely's kit. So applying a damage debuff stack. Each of these, and Gold Find, each of these stacks does not stack additively. They stack multiplicatively with themselves. So here we have almost 1,000% damage bonus. So it's going to increase the damage by 1,000 with just one stack. If we had 2 stacks and it was additive, well, that's more like 2,000. It's a little higher than that with C&E math, but whatever. You get the idea. Lower values. When we multiply, but when it's multiplicative, 2 stacks of 1,000 each multiplies, and now we get 1,000,000%. That's a big number, right? So the more that you can tune enemies around and your formation around getting lots of these stacks, the bigger the number gets multiplicatively. So orders of magnitude bigger, which is the good way bigger. Same with the gold. It'll do the same kind of multiplicative. So Freely is huge in the debuff game and in the gold find game. Really huge. Very, very huge for Halfling. Unlucky for them, this increases the effect of Freely's Luck of Yandala Opportunity. So this is a buff. This is an ability that buffs the debuff. So this is great. And this has item support, so that's even greater. Specializations. We have Law, Neutrality, and Chaos. Basically, this makes Luck of Yandala apply to either lawful, neutral, or chaotic champions. Neutral on that lawful, neutral, chaotic axis, not on the good, neutral, evil axis. People would get that confused constantly. I'm just trying to make that clear. So what you want to do here is you you have to look. You need to know what champions are lawful, neutral, or chaotic. It isn't even about the largest number of them. It can be in some cases, but it's also about what type of basic attack they have and how fast they attack. Because again, this applies a stack of something, and that stack lasts for 15 seconds. We want to get as many stacks as possible in a short period of time. So if you're at a place where enemies are building up on your tank, and you have champions that do AoEs, that AoE attack is gonna, and they qualify for this, and you choose the specialization for this, it's gonna apply that debuff to everyone, not just a single target, all of them. Which means you're going to get lots of debuffs. And if you have multiple AoE champions, that's multiple stacks on everyone. This is a huge deal. Multi-attack champions can apply to someone that shoots out like 3 hits, attacks 3 things. Will apply a stack to each of the separate champions that they hit. So having fast attacks, cue Whittle, having fast attacks, having AoEs, having multi-hits, these are good combinations with Freely. And you want to make sure that you're not only just counting the numbers of champions that qualify here, but looking at what type of attacks so that they can spread it as well as possible. I'm just going to pick Chaos, just because. But I'm not worried about setting things correctly in this formation. But yeah, make sure you're trying to do that to really optimize Freely. Cutting words. This is a fun little bonus for people. We just talked about Overwhelm. This increases the Overwhelm point by 5 of tanking champions that are under attack and within 3 slots of Freely. So an extra 5. This is kind of the only placement cue you're going to get in terms of formation placement. You want them within 3 of a tank that's taking damage. So 3 adjacent. We are here. Either of these positions. If I go back here, I'm no longer 3 from Havelar, but for either of these places and anywhere in front, I'm within 3. That's kind of the only formation placement cue you're going to get from Freely. He's pretty free in terms of placement. Ultimate attack. I will not deafen. Freely grabs his sword and smashes into an opponent for massive damage. I'm not going to demonstrate because he basically he jumps out on the screen with this little particle effect and hits one enemy and then he's done. When he does this, he applies or refreshes all 4 lucky breaks on that enemy. So this is good against bosses just to make sure that they have all of the stacks and that everybody else is at least one of all the stacks, and it's just kind of a free stack mechanism. Item-wise, we get damage all champions. We get the Luck of Yandala Requisition. So this is the gold find item. So we can really boost the gold find. This is the unlucky for them Luck of Yandala thing. So this is the debuff. So right off the bat, 2 fantastic items. But wait, there's more. Adventurous Tale. This is that free favor bonus we're talking about at the end of a run. Great. You can ramp that up too. And then ultimate attack damage, ultimate cooldown. Feats. Freely has some of the best feat combinations in the game, folks. We get the generic damage all champions in the generic gold find, but then it gets better. We get a pair of Requisition Lucky Break. These are the big stack. These are the gold find things, right? So this is his gold find debuff. We can just specialize in that. We have Adventurous Tale. I need to take these off because I'm not doing a favor run. We have Adventurous Tale, so we can boost that favor bonus at the end of the run. We have Unlucky for them, so we can boost the debuff. This is what I want. This is what you want when you're pushing. This is what you want when you're doing Azaka farming or gold find at the end of your run. And then right before you reset, if you were doing a deep push for favor, then you swap in Adventurous Tale and get all those sweet, sweet bonuses. So 6 functional end-game feats, and you swap between them based off what you're doing. Pretty fantastic, but a little bit of micromanaging, right? Little bit of micromanaging, but it's okay. It's okay. Let's talk about Minsk. Let's talk about Minsk, baby. Minsk joins us from the Heroes of Baldur's Gate affiliation, which is basically anybody and everybody that ever passed through Baldur's Gate and did something of note is part of their affiliation. Minsk is one of our core champions. You get Minsk just for starting the game. Everybody else is an event champion that you can either get from an event or a time gate. So keep that in mind. But Minsk you get right away. And Minsk is here with Boo. And frankly, let's be honest. Boo, Minsk is with Boo. Boo is the brains of the operation. Boo is the brain. He's a little tiny miniature giant space hamster, but he's the brains of the operation. Minsk's base attack. Minsk is a human ranger. They fill the DPS support and speed rolls. I just said that. I don't agree with the speed part. Yes, they have a speed effect. No, it is not super functional. Sure, early on it's cool, but we just talked about a guy who can jump literally like 9 levels at a time when you max it up. Comparatively, Minsk is like, yeah. DPS and support though. Minsk starts off as one of your early damage dealers with a cleave. So an AoE targets the closest enemy and just AoEs the heck out of everything. Boastful is the first ability, and it's that speed effect. Whenever a non-boss enemy wave spawns, so a regular one like this, there's a 10% chance of an extra enemy spawning. Just one extra enemy. When it does, I just saw it on the screen, but it's hard to point out. When it does, there's Minsk's face. Shows up as an icon over the enemy to let you know, hey, Minsk brought this one to the party. There's also a 2% chance of 2 extra enemies spawning. This is neat if it had like item support. If you could make these percent chances higher, this would be neat, but you can't. This is it. This is what it is. There's no upgrades. There's no bonuses. This is why it's not the super highest thing ever. Specialization. This is, Ranger. Favorite enemies, folks. This is a selection of enemy types in Dungeons & Dragons. This does not, by any means, cover all the enemies in Dungeons & Dragons. A lot of people think it does. A lot of people that start this game are like, well, how do I know what if it says, a dragon, what does dragon fall under here? None of them. Dragon's its own enemy type. So Minsk is good against humanoids, beasts, undead, fae, monstrosities. That's it. So Minsk has a niche, and you're picking it. You get to pick one of these that he's going to be good against. And that's the only thing he's going to be good against, folks. So we're going to go here, and basically that's... it increases the damage done to those enemies, not just by Minsk. By everyone. This is actually his support ability, is his specialization. So everybody will do extra damage. And let me see. Did I pick something I can find and favorite enemy of? Probably not. Probably not. No, I should have gone with undead. Well, I can fix that. Potion of specialization. Undead. Hey, his favorite enemy is undead, folks. Because why not? Now, let me go to somewhere where they're going to be alive a little bit longer. When you're fighting Minsk's favorite enemy because of that giant red circle with the red skull that they walk out with him underneath. This is the indicator that you are fighting Minsk's favorite enemies, and these are going to take more damage. So a really clear icon in regard for the favorite enemy. Next up is Overkills. This is a Minsk-only DPS buff. When Minsk hits a single enemy with his cleave, so this is the boss killer, basically, he deals majorly more damage. Your number will vary. I have a lot of item levels on my Minsk. Over 5,000. So your number might be a little smaller than this, but this is the boss killer ability. Legendary Slayer, Minsk deals 450% extra damage against his favorite enemies. So again, this is his self-DPS bonuses. So he's going to do better against his favorite enemies than anybody else. And that's it, folks. He's not super complicated. That lore-wise, that fits. He's not super complicated. The ultimate is a whole lot of fun. Go for the eyes, Boo. They left the Boo part off. Minsk swings his greatsword in a massive circle centered on the frontmost enemy, while Boo leaps about, causing up to 5 random enemies to take additional damage for the next 30 seconds. This explanation's a bit backwards. Boo jumps off of Minsk's shoulders and goes for the eyes on 5 enemies, and you can watch it if you don't have a speed effect on. You can watch Boo bounce from enemy to enemy and enemy and mark them all, basically, to take additional damage. And then Minsk jumps out and just cleaves the whole group. It's fun. Hold on. We got to do this one, folks. We got to do this one. I will try to slow things down, put the familiars away. Pay close attention. Boo, there goes Boo. He's bouncing around all over the place. They're all marked now. Boo scampers back, and then Minsk comes out and cleaves. So these marks mean that Boo went for the eyes, and they're going to start taking extra damage. I love that animation. With speed effects on, you just can't see it, though. With any kind of speed effect, you just can't see it. Boo's just too fast. Too fast. Too fast, too furious. That's Minsk, folks. Real straightforward. Again, core champion. That's Minsk, folks. A core champion. So that, you know, they're not usually super complicated. Self-damage items, because DPS. Overkill, that's another self-damage item. Favorite enemy, this is the support item. Then ultimate attack and ultimate attack cooldown. Feat-wise, fast and the furriest. Oh, God. Feat-wise, increased damage of all champions. Increased damage just of Minsk. And he's got a big one at 120%. And then favorite enemy bonus. That's the nice thing. There's also Overkill if you want to do the boss killer, Vorpal champion, in honor of a previous Idle Champions Presents, where Minsk with his Vorpal greatsword lopped the heads off multiple dragons in one round. He just crit and crit again. It was pretty fantastic. So they commemorated that with an Overkill feat. Vorpal champion. I haven't been talking about skins. Minsk has a few of them. I like the giant Boo costume, that one. So we're gonna go to that. A Boo Kigurumi. They need to come out with that. Let's see, Brib. Hold on. I've got to put these. We got pirate. This is Red Panda. No, we're going pirate. Brib. Whittle has Signet Whittle. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we've skinned them out. All right. I'm gonna hop back over here to Freely. Put Freely in a pirate outfit, and then we're gonna continue this explanation. We got two champions left, folks. Let's go with Tatiana. Tatiana joins us from the Black Dice Society. Tatiana is an Air Genasi barbarian druid, fulfills the tanking, support, and speed roles. You've actually seen her speed effect in the background a few times. We will... this is a pause at a high level so we can see this and we can show you how it works. Base attacks, twin kukri strike. Strikes at the closest enemy with 2 kukri strikes. Sure. Again, tanking support, so not really about the attacking. Faithful Friend is the first ability. A random slot from the middle columns of the formation is chosen. Tatiana increases the damage of the champion in that slot by an amount. We don't see that here at the moment, but if we start moving champions around to fill this formation, we will find it. Maybe. Oh, there it is. There it is. It's that blue glow. It's that blue glow under Freely. So this slot is where Faithful Friend landed. It could be anywhere in the middle columns, and in this formation, the middle columns are any of these 3 that aren't the front or the back. Shocker. So it could land anywhere, and these are the cues for your formation placement and for your specialization choice here in a moment. Loyal Protector is the health share. Again, health share is a big feature of tanks. Health share is what allows tanks to make the rest of your party more durable. So when you're dealing with AoE enemies or AoE damage from any kind of effect, health share is what keeps you alive. Rising Fury. Each time Tatiana is attacked, she gains 1 Fury stack. The effect of Faithful Friend is increased by an amount for each stack, stacking additively. She loses 10% of her Fury stacks every 15 seconds that she's not attacked, and this caps at 150 stacks. So let us move Tatiana up a bit. Oh, we can go all the way up here. And let some enemies build up, and you will see... we'll see, hey, she's going to gain some Fury stacks. She's also going to go into a rage. I skipped an ability, but when Tatiana reaches 50 Fury stacks, and for every 15 seconds she's above 50 Fury stacks, she gets a rage stack. Up to 6 stacks. With at least 1 rage stack, she rages and her base attack changes. For each rage stack, Faithful Friend gets a bonus, and stacking multiplicatively. If she goes below 50 stacks, she loses all rage. So she is raging, and this is we're seeing that. We've seen like the red. We get the red. She's even changing forms. We'll get to that ability in a moment. But just know you can track some of that over here. Under rage, hey, like we've got one so far. We've also got Rising Fury. You can track all that under the formation buffs. Find a Feast is the speed ability. If Tatiana is not being attacked and hasn't been attacked for 15 seconds, and the players are in a non-boss area with no barriers. Barriers are like fallen log, they're hit-based. She briefly runs ahead off the right side of the screen. She returns 2 seconds later with additional enemies, and that amount can change, that all spawn at once. And then after she returns, the 15-second counter starts again, right? So let's go back. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Let's jump back, and I will show you what that looks like. That's probably too far. Yeah, let's go here. So she hasn't been attacked. She's not going to be attacked. We'll talk about this shape change thing, awesome shape change, in a moment. It's linked to her fury. There she goes. She's running off the screen, folks. Scampering off, and she's coming back. And look at all those enemies that spawned in with her. That's how that works, folks. She just brings back a wall of enemies. She's like, not challenging enough. Let's go get more. She literally Leroy Jenkins your party, if you want to think of it that way. All right, Specialization Choice. Specialization Choice. This has to do with that Faithful Friend slot, this blue glowy slot. The first one, Faithful Friend, now affects all champions in slots adjacent to the Faithful Friend slot. And the effect is doubled. That's nice. So this allows you to put it gives you a little more freer placement of your primary DPS, right? It doesn't have to be in that slot. Could be adjacent to it. This one makes it affects all champions in the column containing the slot. So if the DPS placement is going to be in that column, but maybe not adjacent, or maybe adjacent, you can go this, and it buffs it by 200%, so a larger buff. However, if you want to leave it just in that slot and you can place your primary DPS there, the biggest bonus comes from Best Friend Forever, which is a 400% multiplier. That's kind of the one you'd like to make happen, but because it's random, it just may not work for your formation, and they give you the other options so that you can still do something. Hold on. Did I miss? It does not explain this. Oh, that's wonderful. Gonna have to make a note for that. Hold on, folks. I need to explain the whole shape change shenaniganry. And it doesn't seem to be doing it in game. So let me hop over to my guide for that. Okay, here we go. It's part of her basic attack, I believe. Well, we see it. It has to do with 50 Fury stacks. So when she gets to 50 Fury stacks, she basically she goes into a rage. When she goes into a rage, she shape changes. It doesn't explain this here either. When she goes into a rage, she shape changes. That's a problem. That needs to be explained somewhere. Her basic attack goes from Twin Kukri Strike to Primal Savagery. She strikes at the closest enemy with a bite and 2 clawed swings for a total of 3 hits. Total hits. So it is a function of these stacks that we're building over here of Fury. So right now I've got 40. When I hit 50, she's going to transform. We'll get there in a moment. Now we're at 44. 45, 47, we're about to hit 50, attack again. There we go, and then she transforms. So just know it's a kind of a shape shift at 50 stacks. And her base attack is now Primal Savagery, so she's going to get 3 hits on things now. Item Y, Ultimate, Entangle, a stripe or strip, however you want to refer to it, of Entangling Roots appears to the right of the front column, dealing damage to all enemies inside it and all enemies that enter it during its duration. Enemies standing in the roots deal 50% less damage. This is a damage and survivability feature. And the roots last for 30 seconds, so there you go. Anything standing in here is going to take more damage, or is going to take damage. It's also going to do half damage to your tank. So a nice ultimate, a nice little ultimate going on there. All right, let's bring the clickers back out. Item-wise, damage all champions. Health. You need this item for a tank. Faithful Friend, that's the damage buff. Rising Fury. This is kind of the rage bonus we talked about. The name gets me every time. Muffin Surprise. This is the speed effect, so this increases the number of enemies spawned. That's why mine spawns like 8 or 9 of them. And then we get ultimate attack damage. Feat-wise, damage all champions, health. Those are always great ways to start. But then we can go straight into Faithful Friend, Rising Fury. We can spawn more enemies. We have Overwhelm feats. We've got a Charisma bonus of 2. This makes Tatiana qualify for Zariel, Patron Zariel. So yeah, lots of feats and pretty high bonuses for the things that you kind of want, depending on whether you're trying to go buffage or survivability. Buffage or survivability. All right, let's throw her back a row and let's talk about Havelar. Havelar joins us from the Brimstone Angels novels, but also in Idle Champions Presents, played by the author Aaron M. Evans, who also is part of Codename Entertainment, does a lot of the writing of the story, of the new storylines that come out more recently. Glaive Thrust, Tiefling Fighter, tanking support and speed. The speed effect is situational. We'll talk about that. Havelar's base attack is a Glaive Thrust that hits. It's a closest enemy AOE. That's the easy way to put it. Havelar's first ability is her ultimate because it's a functionality ability where she summons things. She summons imps. I don't think I'm going to go in. We just talked about Havelar last week, folks. If you want to go in depth into Havelar and how her imps work, hit up Gaarawarr's Guide to Baeloth's Gladiators of Black Pits. I'm just going to, because we're low on time, I'm just going to touch on the fact that basically her imps change functionality as you summon and rotate them. You can explode them like this. They will run out and they will blow something up and they will slow that enemy down. You can do this over and over, and that slow stacks on a single enemy. Like, so you can freeze a boss in place this way. But you're also, every time you rotate the imps, a different imp comes out. And this affects her basic, her 2 primary abilities in different ways. See, now we have a different colored imp out. So Summon Imp's multifunctional. She is a manipulative champion. Also, you don't really want familiars roaming your ultimate bar down here like this, because you don't necessarily want her always changing imps. Okay. Leadership Summit. This is one of the abilities that gets affected based off what imp is out. Havelar increases the damage of all champions in the 2 columns behind her by 1%. So this is her basic support buff. And then this gets changed, multiplied, and bonuses and stuff based off the imps that are out. Sister, this increases the effect of Havelar's leadership summon by 200% when Farida is in the formation. Farida is the other Brimstone Angel, her twin sister. She is a DPS champion, so they make a good combination. Infernal Fortitude is the health share. Fiendish Resolve. When any fiend is in the area, Havelar focuses less on her own attacks and more on buffing the party. So her base attack cooldown doubles, but Leadership Summit doubles. So she goes into a, hey, you kill everything, I'm not going to do it kind of situation. And this is another ability that's affected by the imp she has out. In fact, this is where her speed effect comes in. When you have that first set of imps out, Mott and Dembo, I believe, when you have the first set of imps out, when a fiend enemy is on the screen and you kill it, you get credit for 2 kills or 2 quest items. That is her speed effect. So it only works when fiends are out. This is great in Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, where there's lots of fiends because you're in hell. It also works in Mad Wizard, which is where there are a lot of fiends, and Mad Wizard tends to be where people gem run. However, because it is linked to her ultimate, you do have to hit that ultimate to get the effect to come into play, to bring the imps out. Battlemaster. Each time Havelar attacks, she increases the damage of all champions for each enemy she hits. So as more enemies are piling up in front of your party and on your tank, she gives you a bonus up to a max of 20 stacks. The effect lasts for half of Glaive Thrust base cooldown, but her spec can change things. You can either spec into, hey, let's blow up imps faster, or let's make Battlemaster last the entire duration of her base attack, and thus keep it up all the time. That tends to be what you want for pushing. The blow the imps up faster is more if you're using her for manipulative stuff with freezing bosses. Yeah, that's everything. Item-wise, damage all champions, a pair of them. Health, leadership summit, Battlemaster. So all the damage, but you get lots of damage bonuses here with Havelar. Ultimate attack damage. Feat-wise, damage all champions, health. But then we get into directed leadership summit. We get Overwhelm. There's a Battlemaster one. And then there are... Oops, I didn't want to do that. Then we have a Constitution +1. This qualifies, as it says, Vajra Summers. This qualifies Havelar for Vajra patron stuff. We get a Charisma 2. This qualifies... Yeah, this qualifies her for Zariel, patron Zariel stuff. I may get her something else too, but that's the big part. That's Havelar, folks. That's everything. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll come back. Martin has been grabbing your questions in chat. We have not been ignoring them. Martin has almost 24 questions that they've picked up from chat. So we will come back, and I will start working through those. For our musical interlude, we are going to listen to Space Hamster Blues. So the song from Minsk and Boo. It's from Boo's perspective. It's pretty fantastic. The audio is a little glitchy in the beginning because this is one of the earlier Bardic Inspiration songs that were created. And back then, there was this issue with Zoom where it would sometimes mute the audio. But hey, hang in there, folks. It's great. Be right back.
Space Hamster Blues.
I was on my way to Toro when I crashed and was shrunken down. Now I'm stuck here wandering with this loud and rowdy clown. But kicking for goodness, I hear him shout from town to town. Here we are in Baldur's Gate, fighting monsters and bale spawn. He said something about magic and swords forever won. But kicking for goodness, oh my goodness, not again. He says he lives by the sword and his tattoo is purple, but it sure looks like the blues to me. How did I end up here stuck with these weirdos, shrunk down for eternity? Yeah, 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 yeah. The rain and mud on my face. Life was simpler out in space. Crossing stars in the astral sea. Whatever happened to me? Kicking down doors, blood on the floors, endless heroic killing spree. Says he lives by the sword and his tattoo is purple, and it sure looks like the blues to me. How did I end up here stuck with these weirdos, shrunk down for eternity? Yeah, yeah, almost dead and it's thrill. My best friend trying to get us killed. bigger they are, the harder he hits. Even demons and devils run back to their pits. The safety of numbers and will with these 5 or 6. Oh. Now we're heroes and legends, fighting evil with my crew. Beholders and dragons and goblins and kobolds, may our swords strike ever true. Where goes the stench of evil, so goes the cancer wind of Minsk and Boo. So now we go for the eye. Yeah, we go for the eye. How about we go for the eye? Yeah, we go for the eye. Oh, how time flies when you're going for the eye.
It's pretty great. Holy crap. It's amazing.
And we're back. And it was amazing. It was pretty great. It was pretty great. The voice in there was Jim Zub, who plays Minsk. It's kind of referred to by Wizards of the Coast as the Keeper of Minsk and Boo, as he's also in charge of the comics, like the Heroes of Baldur's Gate comics. So I'm going to go through this list of questions, and I'm going to try to hit the ones that are kind of related to the champions on the screen. But first, folks, I switched Tatiana into her gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling skin. I mean her gladiator skin. This is from Idle Champions Presents the Black Pits. If you're taking part in the Summer Spectacular, and I hope you are, because free stuff. If you collect 4 chests, just 4 of the 7 chests, you're going to get a free Gladiator Minsk and Boo outfit, some chests and a feat. So do that. There's also, as you can see, there's a lot of gladiator skins in the shop, including I've got to go look at this Havelar again. Definitely glow inspired. Definitely a glow up for Havelar. It's just fantastic. They even gave a glow up to the imps. So this is, you get this as a familiar gladiator mod. It's just fantastic. So yeah, they've all kind of got their own little style of gladiatorial action there, but they're pretty fantastic. They're pretty fantastic. All right, folks. I also have Havelar in a pirate skin, because why not? Because I like the pirate stuff. Okay. Questions, though. Questions. Maxa Kubert, is Whittle's attack counted for Alcoria's School of Magic? It is a magical attack, so you can see right here. This icon that looks like a magic missile means it's a magic base attack. So as long as that's the effect, which it is for all of Whittle's attacks, it will qualify for Alcoria. Melee attacks look like this. Ranged attacks look like an arrow. So yes. We're talking about Overwhelm. It says Overwhelm champions take extra damage from all enemies. Yes. So once you get overwhelmed, once you trigger the Overwhelm, you're taking Overwhelm damage, but it has to do with... Hold on, let me open up Brib so we can see this. You take extra damage from all enemies, but the amount of extra damage you take is based off the number of enemies over the Overwhelm point. So, I can't remember the percent. Let's say it's... I'm just going to throw a number out. Let's say it's 5%. I think it's like 10% more damage. So let's say it's 10% more damage. Let's say my Overwhelm is 50 and I have 51 enemies on the screen. Well, now they're doing... Now all 51 enemies are doing 110% damage to me. Right? If I have 60, they're all now doing... because that's 100%. They're all now doing double damage. right? So having a high overwhelm helped reduce the amount of extra damage you're going to take, because that's directly related to the total overall damage percentage you're getting, right, from the enemies. Now, whether or not overwhelm is what's going to make you live longer or not versus more health is something that you have to, it's kind of just based on what's actually killing you. Right now, if I die to things and I don't even have, with the 50 overwhelm, if I'm dying to stuff and I don't even have, and I only have like 20 enemies out, well, overwhelm, it obviously doesn't matter. What I need then is more health. And this is how you kind of determine which feats to slot. So if I were dying to stuff and I wasn't even getting to the overwhelm point, then I would need to swap this feat out for more health. Because obviously I just need more health to be able to live through the attacks to trigger the healing. But when you get up to higher levels and kind of end game stuff, overwhelm can be a nice bonus as opposed to health. You can't raise health functionally the same as you can overwhelm. So it's good to learn kind of what's actually killing you. Is it the overwhelm damage, or is it just that you don't have enough health? So it's important. I mean, I would say it's not. So it's not that overwhelm feats are useless at your wall. It's that you have to actually functionally pay attention to what's killing you at your wall and decide. I tend to stack a lot of health on Brib because I tend to want him to give him the best chance to live until he triggers his heal. However, I have the overwhelm feed in because I'm using him primarily for gem farming, and I'm health sharing with other tanks to get his health up for that. And I'm just trying to reduce the damage because I'm stacking 100 enemies on the screen. So it's really going to depend on what you're doing. Silly Simon, Brib's feat wasting haste. Any point using it before you get guaranteed 4 jumps? None at all. Absolutely none at all. It really is just something for when you get to the 4 jump guaranteed with extra above it. If you're really trying to dial in, like if you're using it for this automated Brib gem farming, again, that was the guy that got thrown into chat earlier. If you're using it for that kind of high-end gem farming, that's when it would kick in. You wouldn't use it any other time. Max Gubert, in regards to Freely's on hit effects, are they only on basic attacks or does it count on ultimates? It's just basic attacks. Freely's ultimate applies it, but for everybody else it's basic attacks. Now if somebody's ultimate allows them to attack faster, there you go. But yeah, it's a basic attack on hit effect. Silly Simon again, tried looking for it on Minsk but can't see where or how he buffs click damage. So if we read this, favorite enemy says increases damage done to undead enemies. Click damage is damage done to undead enemies. So you have to read usually what the abilities state. Some debuffs are going to say increases the damage done by champions, in which case click damage wouldn't count. But if it just says increases all damage to a type of enemy, then click damage is going to count. So it's not that it gets specifically called out. It's just that you have to read the context. Ithy Prince, does Briv's Unnatural Haste give stacks to Nahara's Who Am I ability? Yes. Over here under fixes, you can see improved Nahara counting Brived skipped areas. So Nahara's a new champion to the game. Previously, because Nahara earned stacks based off completed areas. Previously, if somebody earned stacks based off completed areas, like say Freely, Briv jumping areas wouldn't count. They specifically made it so Nahara's does. So I'm crossing my fingers. That means they're going to change freely, but I haven't seen a patch note for that yet. So yes, you can Briv jump and have Nahara, and it will give her stacks. Does Briv jumping a boss give gems for skipped bosses? Yes, because when this is why you use Briv for gem farming. Otherwise you wouldn't, right? When you jump a boss area with Briv, you get everything in the bag. Everything in the bag, and what comes in the bag are gems and potentially chests. So you get lots of silver chests, you're going to get some gold chests, and you're going to get all those sweet gems. All those sweet gems. Does the game consider skipped zones as finished or just skipped? In all cases except for... So generally speaking, it counts it as skipped. You did not complete the area. They have made Nahara count. They give you the boss bag. You don't get credit for killing all those enemies, though, when you skip it because you didn't. Right? So it's situational. You do get the boss bags. Nahara does get stacks, but she's the only one currently. Stan Mechanic, I assume Tatiana's best friend slot is fixed for each run of the adventure. No, every time, like if I were to, so I'm in Terror in the Dark free play. If I complete this and I start again, when I level Tatiana up, this could potentially go somewhere else. It's just that once I've put Tatiana in and leveled her up and it's chosen that spot for that run, it's fixed for that run. There's no way to move it. But I could restart the run. If I level her up on level 1, on area 1, I could figure out where it is. If I don't like it, I could restart and I could put it somewhere else. You can do that if you want. All right, I'm going to go back and I'm going to hit up all the general questions, folks. So if I skipped your question, it's because it wasn't on topic. That's okay, though, because we still have a little over half an hour to answer all these questions. Someone did, comes to repost the gem farming link. Martin did put that in chat. Keep in mind, automated Briv stacking requires a minimum Briv investment, and a lot of other champions, and a lot of knowledge of the game to be able to manipulate your formation and make it work. Just keep that in mind. It is not a new player thing. PMM, I chose Jim over Viconia and Xander. I mean, look, choose everyone over Xander. For my natural time gate, since I have no slot needs and couldn't determine a gameplay reason to pick her over Jim. Since as far as I can tell, they're both niche use champions. Yeah. Can you discuss use cases for Viconia that would have made her a better option? She's fun. I'm going to pair this with another question down here. No eat. Do you have Viconia? I really like her Animate Dead ability, but is it worth it more than other characters in that slot? Look, this is my answer to PMM's question. Basically, Viconia real fun. We're over here. Viconia has an Animate Dead ability that is just fantastic. Kills things, and as you can see, she reanimates their dead corpses and causes them to kill all their friends. It's functionally like AoE fire breath potions, and it's just going to do all that. Well, it's not going to kill here because we don't have enough damage in this formation, but basically they kill all their friends, they stay alive for a bit, and it's just kind of fun. It's just fun, and sometimes it's, it's okay to have fun champions, right? So that's Viconia. There is a niche use scenario for her in variants where maybe lots of things spawn at once, and you just want to kill them real quick, and pair her with like Torrigar, so that it requires spawning and not dying and getting back up again now. But so when you get huge waves of enemies due to the variant rules, she would kill them all immediately. Torrigar gains a bunch of stacks immediately, and that just keeps repeating ad infinitum. It's a very niche use scenario, but it can be good for building Torrigar stacks. Can be good for building Torgar stacks. Yeah. But, you know, I think we're going to see more out of Viconia as we get more members of her affiliation in. Delramian, is there a possibility to remove someone as a leader of a trial from the trial and invite someone else instead? No. If the trial has already started, no. Well, you can't remove you can't change people at all in trials once the trial is started. At all. Currently. The game doesn't work that way. But you also can't change the leader of a trial on your own. The leader can kick people out before you start the trial. The leader can kick anybody out that they want. The leader can leave a group, but ultimately, if you don't like the leader, you need to go start a different group. Trials changes are coming. I don't know if that's something that's changing. We haven't heard anything confirmed about what's changing until it comes out. Until it comes out, don't even trust what the devs say. Honestly, because stuff changes at the last second. Riffraff, with Nahara's Who Am I ability, it seems to change. Both the amount earned per area and the total damage bonus seem to be different sometimes when I look to see where it's at. Okay, I know what you're talking about. I'm like, no, it's a flat amount. I know what you're talking about, though. So here's the thing. What you're talking about isn't the total. She gets a damage bonus, but like your stacks will stay the same. Like I have 259,000 stacks, but my total bet damage bonus might seem lower than the last run I was on. Well, that's because she gets upgrades to Who Am I as she levels up. That was a bad example because I don't see any there right now, but as she levels up, she will have, like, here we go, increases the effect of Nahara's Who Am I. So there is going to be a difference to the amount any given number of stacks gives as a bonus based off what level Viconia or Nahara is. But once she's at soft cap, this is what you have to base it off. What's the total at soft cap? Right now, with 259,000 stacks and my item and feat, my bonus is in the 307 range. But we just saw that when she was a lower level, it was EO5, and this stack amount didn't change, right? Because it's not gonna. It's because she gets upgrades to it. You're also going to upgrade with an item. Did you slot her Who Am I a feat? But ultimately, it's about the fact that she's upgrading the effect of that ability as she levels up. So yeah. So it will vary, but you need to base what your total is based off. Just know that the more stacks you get, the better it's going to get. Iron Mask. Why is Dungeons & Dragons not a valid 16 character code? I don't know. It will be at some point. Monstrosity. How to get that high resolution? My max resolution in game is much lower despite having a much higher resolution computer. Settings? So under display, you can choose resolution. I'm running 1600 by 9. However, you can also scale the UI. So like I could scale this down and make it look like I'm around arc. I make it bigger. I make it smaller. I've just kind of left it at 100% lately. If you can also uncheck 16 by 9 and get potentially different options for your resolution. So there's a multiple things that could be going on there. Devicetron, I have one more hero slot to fill to get to split the party. Nice. Slot in question is 9, the Makos one. What hero would be a good support hero for the slot? I'm mainly looking for speed. I don't think... No, Makos. 9. There is no... I was like, I don't think there's a speed champion in 9. And there isn't. But here's the thing. There's Nordum. You're about to get... When you go to split the party, you're about to get your first Modron core. Nordum helps you level up your Modron cores faster. It gives you bonus experience. So honestly, I mean, if you're looking for speed, that is kind of speed, the speed at which you level your Modron core. You could go Nordum. However, if you're just looking for pushing, usually my recommendation here is, well, first off, you don't need to run a time gate to get a second champion in slot 9. You can unlock Dritz Doerden for free in this Grand Tour of the Sword Coast. Right here, right now. No. Right here off of Underdeep Cartography, there is an adventure called Overdue Rendezvous. It's the variant. You can unlock Dritz by completing this adventure. You only have to get to area 175, but you got to do it with 8 champions. That middle one is going to be NPC Dritz. You can get your second champion for free without doing a time gate. It's that quick. That quick. However, if you are going to do a time gate, Ayla is a great tank in slot 9, but Nordum will help you level up your Modron core faster. So, there's some information. You do with it what you will. Safety Goth, hi. Grama, hi. Grama seems pretty popular, and I've got another time gate coming up. Do you know why she's so popular? She's cool. Grama is a turtle. Gramanander over here. Here's the regular one, but I mean, come on, Druid Warrior is the best skin with the stabby octopus. Grama, technically DPS tanking support, but ultimately fantastic support. Grama has the ability to, in her Circle of the Arctic spec, has the ability to turn her melee attack into an AoE. And when it AoEs, it casts Freezing Breeze, Sleet Storm, which slows enemies down and doubles their attack timers. But then it also triggers Freezing Breeze, which makes them take more damage from all sources. So she is an AoE debuffer. An AoE debuffer that makes all enemies take more damage from all sources. That does include click damage. That's why Grom is so popular. She can also function as a tank. We don't talk about her DPS spec around here. Also from Safety Goth, do you recommend waiting until you have every event champion before using time gates on champions you already have? Not always. Not always. It's situational. If you have a champion that's really key to the formations that you've been using and you want to get better gear for them, and you already have a lot of champions. There's over 100 champions in the game. Let's say you've already got 60. Those last 40 may not be champions that are really going to help you progress, and maybe having better gear on some core champions that you use a lot, and by core I mean the ones that you're using regularly in your deep pushing formations, might help you progress better. You could totally go tag in some time gates to get gear. Combine that with patron chests, and it's going to happen a lot quicker. Asheron Blackhand, when I am free playing in a time gate, should I do that? Or should I just skip doing that for something else? I don't really run free plays in time gates. Here's the thing about a time gate, folks. The most important part of a time gate, I'm not going to pop one of these just to trigger it, but the most important part of a time gate is you get a first adventure, a second adventure, and then a variant. Each one of those awards a gold chest. That's the big deal. And if you're doing a time gate for the first time, it gives you that champion too. That's the core time gate experience. There is a interesting functionality, kind of an odd functionality for time gates where you can get silver chests to drop for every 100 unique areas you complete. So getting to 100 the first time, getting to 200 the first time, getting to 300 the first time, it'll get you silver chests for that champion as well. But that's really like the favor that you get from a time gate, Meister's favor, doesn't convert super well back into campaigns. So favor farming for time gates isn't really a big deal. At some points in your career, it might become a big deal, but early on, not really. So I'm all about grabbing low-hanging fruit. Grab all 3 of those gold chests and get yourself enough favor, usually in those basic of those first 2 regular adventures. Use those as your favor pushes. Do that third adventure, that third variant just to complete the area, get your gold chest, and then bounce. It's probably a better use of your time. Grimpers, how do you get a Modron core? I just started playing again. I have components for it. So there is an adventure that we alluded to earlier called Split the Party. Split the Party is a function of this Adventuring Parties button. You need to have 2 champions in every bench slot. So you need to have this Swippy Swappy button show up in all 12 bench slots, and then you will be able to come in here, and there will be a trigger that says unlock a new party, and you'll be able to click this. And you play an adventure called Split the Party. The reward for Split the Party is a Modron core and a new background party. So I did Split the Party, I got Gem Farm background. I did Split the Party 2, I got another Gem Farm background. I did Split the Party 3, I got yet another Gem Farm background. So technically I can run 4 parties at once right now. And I have 4 Modron cores. One gets rewarded for each Split the Party, and then you can buy one from here for way too many gems. So that's how you get them. That tends to be the kind of one of your first kind of medium term goals when you start the game, is to make decisions about time gates and stuff to fill in to get that second champion in every one of these slots. More than just going for the best champions in the game, you want to get that Modron core, because once it's leveled up and you've got a lot of flow in it, which that's a whole other conversation, it can give you enough power to give you 100 areas of progress compared to not using one. So it is a progression system for you, and getting that online as quickly as possible is a good idea. The Lightning Dragon, I love this. How does the Uno reverse symbol work? It's the swippy swappy button. Basically this button shows up, this icon shows up to tell you that you can change this to something else. So I can swap. So this is the swap button. So when you have extra champions available, which is part of this game, is collecting all the champions so that you can, because they all function a little differently and they're going to help you complete different variants. You can swap to another champion. When you do, you have to level that champion up from scratch, right? But you can always go back to the one you had before at whatever level they were at, as long as you're in the same adventure. Now there's also, you see over here, we see a swappy button on click damage. That's because it's skins. It triggers skins as well, for things like click damage. Familiars can have a swappy button for familiar skins. So basically it's there to indicate there are other options here if you'd like. Dragon Lord, what exactly do patrons do? Who is your patron and what does he do? No, that's jeez, that's an old throwback. Patrons do multiple things. First up on the list, I mean, we can see right here, perks. They've got perks. Patrons can give you bonuses. These are permanent bonuses once you've earned enough influence and spent them on these bonuses. There are local and global. Local means when you have Mert, the moneylender, activated as your patron, these bonuses are in effect on the left-hand side. Global means whether Mert's activated or not, these are available to you. So you get, damage. We've got that healing we talked about earlier. Gold find, chest. They vary. Each patron has different potential perks. They also all have a shop for you to spend your currency in. Items in the shop are gated by influence, by your total influence. You don't have to worry about spending influence. Spend it all. This looks at your total earned overall time. Basically, like you are earning respect with this patron. And as you get more respect, you are allowed to buy more types of things from their shop. You spend the earnable currencies on things that usually the primary importance when you're starting out, time gate pieces. Every patron can sell you 1 per week. With all 4 patrons and the blessing that gives you a double drop, that means you can run a time gate every week to get champions. So this is highest priority to get when you're doing patrons. There's a bunch of potions. Honestly, it's a trap. Potions are a trap currently, and patrons don't buy them. I mean, you can do whatever you want, folks, but I'm just telling you, it's not a great way to get potions. Modron component chests, though. Once you unlock your first Modron core, this is the only way to get pipes for your Modron core outside of just leveling up your Modron. There's a limited amount from that. You want to be buying your Modron component chests each week, right? So there's delivery systems for things you need here. You can also get skins. You can get feats. You can unlock a familiar. Each patron will sell you a familiar. There's golden epic items, like a pair of them for certain champions in each of these. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on. Primarily perks and a shop. Now, what they do to that you earn influence and ruby coins, patrons basically allow you to go back and redo all of the variants that you've completed in the game already, and they reward you with a combination of influence and currency. However, they give you harder restrictions, so patrons are effectively harder levels of the game. Like, every patron is kind of like a miniature New Game Plus. Like, hey, you already completed all this stuff. Now go back and complete it again. But with harder restrictions and a higher completion level. So these are every one of these is a high, as you go down the list, is a higher level of challenge to overcome. And then you just get fun. You get fun rewards from it. So why not? Silly Simon, what's your favorite fun ultimate? So a fun-timate? No, that's not it. A fun ultimate. Nordum says overtaking core zones for pure hilarity versus armor Meltjoy. Yeah, I do have to go with Nordum. I do have to go with Nordum, folks. Let's go bring our friend Nordum, the backwards Modron, into our formation. Nordum's a recent addition to the game, but something that people have wanted for a very long time. There's Nordum up there. This is his skin. This is the normal Nordum. This is normal Nordum. This is steampunk Nordum. Nordum has, arguably for me, probably the best visual ultimate in the game. Are you ready? You're not ready. You're not ready. It's called the Frequent Modron March. Oh my god. It's still going. Still going. Okay, now we're stopping. Folks, they do damage. They push enemies back a short distance as they run into them and do massive damage. And there's a lot of them, and they just keep coming. It's fantastic. Yeah, hands down to me now, probably the best just visually the best ultimate. Now there are better ultimates, but visually hard to top an entire Modron march on the screen. We'll watch that again in a bit. Mike Spanner, how many champs can you unlock in the game from missions or variants? There's no easy way to know that. There is an easy way to know that because I've got a guide for that. Yeah, there's no easy way in game to know that kind of stuff. But first off, they're called evergreen champions usually. You can get one out of the newsletter. You get Hitch by signing up for the newsletter. There's going to be one coming to the store. When you get this version of the store, you will go to this tab and you'll be able to buy Nerds. That's right, folks. You can Nerds. The Nerds candy is a champion, an idle champions, and they're in a little minecart. And their ultimate's called Shake the Box, and it changes which nerds are in the minecart because why not? Because marketing said so. That's why. So Nerds and Hitch are a bit unique, but the other evergreens you currently unlock by completing variants. I alluded to one earlier, Dritz Doerden. You can get Dritz out of the Sword Coast adventures, Sword Coast campaign. In Tomb of Annihilation, there are two. There are Azaka Stormfang, the Favor Fountain, and Dragonbait. It smells like lemons. In Waterdeep Dragon Heist, there's Alcoria Stone Marrow. We were talking about them earlier. In Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, there's Rhea Mantlemorn. In Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden, there's Zerofawn, a doppelganger champion. And in the Wild Beyond the Witchlight, there's Belushi, the Bullywug champion. So there are a number of them. I have guides for that on the subreddit. If you go to my wiki page on the subreddit, I think if somebody puts an exclamation point Gar guides, no spaces, that should trigger that link. And yeah, that's going to be the list of all of them. Chaos, I've had enough time. I have enough time gate pieces for a time gate on Thursday, the free time gate Friday, and with the Black Pits, I'll have enough for another time gate on Monday. In addition, I don't have any of the champions for the event coming up. Should I save my Electrum chest for when I have all of those champions unlocked, or should I go ahead and nope them? No, save them. You're going to be getting a lot of new champions in a short period of time, and Electrum chests can help fill in the lower level rarity slots. Allowing your silver chests to potentially trigger upgrades, and your gold chests to then fill in on top with the higher level items. So if you're going to be doing a lot of event champions, either because of an event or because you're doing a lot of time gates, hold on to those. If you already have good gear on all the other champions, hold on to Electrums. If you're brand new, it's just open up your chests all the time right away. But like me, I've got all purple gear everywhere, so I can hoard Electrum chests, and it's totally fine. So if you're like me, and I am, yeah. Shevik, so is Brib any good? Yes. Yes. Brib, even with the change to his jumping, Brib is still one of the... I would argue he's still overpowered. He is still one of the overpowered champions in the game, thus keeping him in the meta. Timnos, what were your free time gate choices this weekend? I don't remember. One of them was a Toragar, and that was my lowest average item level, so that's what I did. I literally finished it in like an hour with the speed potions and was done. Langoletto, noob question. Sorry, don't apologize. I'm here for all the kinds of questions. I have this stream on the Idle Champions Twitch, CNE Games Twitch channel, not because I work for them. I mean, I'm contracted to do these streams, but I am not a CNE Games employee. I'm a guy that makes guides for the game, and my guides are new player guides. So chances are, if you have a noob question, you're in the right spot. Because literally that's the target of my guides. I stay away from the end game guides. I let other people make those. I just help people with new player questions. It doesn't mean I don't know the rest of the game. That's what my guides get focused on. So the click damage option that you equipped is just a skin, or does it actually have any bonuses? This is the water click damage skin. It just gives this visual splash effect. Here's a snowball, which puffs of snow and snowflakes in the air. There's the green flame clicks. Green flame. This was a crossover with Acquisitions Incorporated when they added a gym, green flame gym, and then the default, right? So these are just visual effects. They don't have anything that they're doing outside of that. PMM, follow up on Nordum. What is his XP modifier range? I mean, the range is from 0 to infinite. Like for me, I can tell you what mine looks like after pumping a lot in. My Modron Core Toolbox, this is his XP bonus, is currently at 275% of a bonus, which means I am getting... Normally I get 1 XP per level. So that's going to give me, 3.75 XP per level? And yes, it does carry over decimals, like it will store them until you get a whole and then add it. And I have his 80% feet slotted, and I have the item up to golden level 581. So I have a fair investment in this, and I'm getting 270 for 5% bonus. So it could go a lot higher if I wanted. This did well for me. I just threw some extra blacksmithing contracts in that I had laying around, and it zoomed me through the magic core, the most recent core, pretty quickly. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a function of whatever investment you place into your Nordum. Thunderbob, have you ever had your first character in automated parties drop off or not show up? All the time. This is a recent bug, and by recent I mean the last month or two. I've reported it multiple times. I've tried to report it in different scenarios, because here's the issue: they're having a very hard time reproducing it, and if you can't repro a bug, it's nearly impossible to fix it, because if you can't repro it, you don't really know what's triggering it. And so then you just have to go in and do just random searches for like what might be causing this, and that's not a good way to try to fix a bug. So yeah, if anybody can repro it 100% of the time, please submit a ticket and outline very carefully the steps with which you can reproduce it. They do know it's happening, because I won't stop shutting up about it with them whenever it happens, because it's super annoying. But it does, as far as I can tell, it's linked to automation, specifically if you go offline or into the background, which is effectively offline progress. I can't get it narrowed down more than that. I've had it happen to multiple champions, but for me, it's always slot 1. It's always slot 1. But it has to do with going offline. If I'm online and I leave it online and I don't go into the background or anything, I don't have any problems. All right, I'm going to go into a bit of speed mode. Martin, I think we're probably done with questions, because I got maybe 5-6 minutes and I got like 10 questions to get through. So speed mode, folks. Dragonlord, do you have to match the patron requirements to buy patrons or just equip them? You unlock them. They will have unlock requirements. You only have to pay that unlock price once. Basically, you are giving them a gift, and then they are now your patron forevermore. But then you go slot them over here, like it says active patron, none. If I was completed adventure, there'd be a list, and I could slot them and then go do variants with their restrictions. Yeah. So that's how that works. Joe Sarn, how do I unlock them, and how long does it take to start to play? Oh, patrons, it just takes a while. It depends on each one. They each have different requirements to unlock them. Mert's usually the easiest. It takes like some silver chests, 3 time gate pieces, and a bunch of item levels. Your characters basically have to prove via having item levels across all of them that they are strong enough to do his bidding. But those 3 time gate pieces are a one-time spend. But after that, they each have different requirements. And they require you owning a certain number of champions. Stand mechanic, do the patron shop skins unlock the champion if you don't already own them? Yes, if they're event champions, event or time gate champions. No, if they're evergreens. You have to go earn that evergreen. You can't just get it for free. Vinmist, do the patron blessings, do you get the patron blessing on top of, say, Sword Coast blessings? Patron perks. Campaign blessings. Yes. They're 2 different things. It's important to think about them differently, because blessings are based off favor in a campaign, and favor is an infinitely earnable thing. So you can't reset blessings without paying a favor cost. Perks, though, are based off patron influence, and patron influence is a finite amount. So you can reset it as much as you want and switch your bonuses around without any cost. So they are 2 different things, and yes, they all stack together. These are all forms of power progress, like what I call account power progress, as opposed to just purely champion power progress. Chaos Eye trying to get banned. If we got a Volo patron before a Gaarawarr one, would you quit? If they put a Volo patron in the game, I would be very upset. I don't know if I'd quit, but I would be very upset. Volo's a hack. Catraz Des Moines, will you make an updated guide for the new Split the Party? No. I may add some notes about Split the Party 3 to the Split the Party guide. They all function exactly the same way. They just remove a few more, like a higher percentage of champions. So So the original guide still works, but you just have to know you have to have a few more champions in there. I may go back when I do another new player count. I'll go back and update. I'll add some more notes, but they function the same ways. Evil Emperor Zerg. With the legendary epic potion, what champion ability would you use it on? Was a legendary epic. Oh, what? So what champion? Just what champion would you use it on? You can't really. I mean, you can't. Legendary is different from like golden, so you can use it on a golden epic. That's totally fine. But the legendary effect is going to be random, and it isn't based off items, so it doesn't really matter. You basically, if you have a legendary potion, like a potion of legendary, you basically would just want to find the best champion to put it on, because then the effect's going to be random, and what item you put it on doesn't matter currently. Pick 6 and 1. When does the new shop come to Epic Games? Whenever it's done. It's currently available to like half of the Epic Games users, but this is a new shop experience they're trying to build, and they want to make sure it's completely done before they release it to everyone. Ogun Kalsic. I'm slot 5 and slot 12 short from Split the Party. Okay. Slot 12 has a Zaka Stormfang. You can pick her up for free in Tomb of Annihilation fairly easily. Slot 5, I mean, obviously, Brib is a good choice there. What's coming up in the next event? I can find out by scrolling down here and looking at Midsummer. Those two are not. Beetle and Grim and Eliwick, so this doesn't help you at all. So yeah, maybe go hunt for Brib. And one of slot 5. We do not have a slot 5 coming in the next event. Xander is not coming in the next event. Xander is a year 1 champion and will not return. You can only get Xander in a time gate, and you don't want to get Xander in a time gate. Shandy is not returning. We are getting Beetle and Grim, Eliwick, plus whoever the next champion is. Oh, wait! Valentine! I got thrown off, folks. Valentine's coming. So yeah, you're good. You're good. Go get a Zaka. If you want to get a slot 12 champion, you could grab like Penelope or Zorbu. But you could just go get a Zaka for free. I forgot Valentine's coming to slot 5. I didn't have GG2E yesterday, so we didn't talk about Valentine. Valentine coming from Black Dice Society. Super excited. Slot 5 champion. Last question. Should I open all these chests? I don't know the context. I'm just going to say yes. If you're newer and you have to ask that question, you probably still need power on your account, and chests give you power, so do it. That's going to be it, folks. If you have more questions, you can return next week to all the streams, like Mars streams and Mars's Guiding Hand. He likes to answer questions. Formation Save answers questions. Weekly patronage on Monday with Lauren. Lauren answers questions. I return. I'm around on Fridays and Saturdays. I also stream on my own channel, twitch.tv/Gaarawarr, spelled like it sounds. And on Mondays, I do Idle Chatter about Idle Champions, and you can come ask me questions there. I'm going to be streaming later today on that channel. In an hour-ish, I have to go get lunch and then eat it. And then we'll start up the stream for what we're calling Final Fantasy Saturday. The F in Saturday is silent. We finished Final Fantasy 1, the original, and now we're playing Final Fantasy 2. We're doing the Pixel Remaster version. So come hang out with us later today. It's a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks to Martin for grabbing all the questions and doing the producing and yelling at me when I mute my mic. We're going to go out with, a Whittle Bit Evil, a song for Whittle. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.
Let's give it a shot.
Okay.
Let's do it.
This could be it.
She's a little bit evil, a little bit good. She's a little bit sneaky, little misunderstood. Running away from her crimes like a spider she climbs. She's a little bit hero, a little bit villain too. She's a little bit scary, but way faster than you. No matter where you run, she'll be there pointing a gun. foes. But after the vampire's attack, her heart was turned blind. She stepped out of time and stole the devil's rod. Then she dropped her to rest on top of a god. She saved a friend with a pack. Now there's no turning back. She's a tinker and a thinker, a wizard with her tools, a widow of the evil, and she suffers no fool. She's a hound in the night, and a tempest by. For a friend she will find. She's what goes bump in the night. She keeps her soul from running aground. With her friends, her allies she's found. She battles devils below and the gods above. She's dying to save the one she loves. She's a tinker and a thinker, a wizard with her tools, a widow of evil, and she suffers no fool. She's a hound in the night, and a tempest by. For her friend she will fight. She's what goes bump in the night. Yeah, we did it.
It's so good. I'm so happy with it.
It feels good.